Hello, this is Regdrin, and around my neck is the Stone of Triumph.
Hey everybody, you might remember me from the previous video.
It's been a while since our last video, but at least we're not talking about Riviera here.
When did we ever talk about that?
Several years ago. Colterri. We're going for expert here, and I've decided to release myself from the shackles of score, so we have this.
Oh boy.
Now, since this is the short-range planet, I'm not going with 2 layers of cruisers, but I decided to bring back the frigates.
Why would you ever do such a thing?
Because I don't have to worry about what works anymore.
Fair enough.
So, what would you do if you didn't have to worry about score?
Oh, that's a very good question. Well, the only reason I got into doing high scores is so I could beat you at them.
Well, yeah, that sounds about right. But, for example, what did you do before you found out?
Oh, I mainly just did whatever I wanted. I even tried fighters.
Okay.
That didn't last very long.
Someday we'll come up with a video that doesn't mention the effectiveness or lack thereof regarding fighters.
Well, I really wanted gunships to work.
So did I. There are a lot of things I want to work, in fact.
Well, you can't have everything.
Yeah. Now, what I do like about this particular game is that there's some 2D overlap. Some things will be closer to the camera than others.
Right.
I just kind of wish that this was implemented further so that ships could sort of pass by each other on that plane without getting tangled up.
Well, that's really just to prevent something that people who have played Starfire would know about, which is the Stack of Doom.
Ah, well. Okay, I guess that's fair.
Well, however, this game does have some mitigating factors for that, too.
Such as the explosion shockwaves?
Yes.
Okay. Now, like a little while ago, we have walls of frigates here.
Uh-huh.
But we're gonna find that this is not terribly effective when the numbers are more even.
Well, it wasn't especially effective in the first place.
Well, I had to specifically plan for it before. Not anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I noticed that a couple of my cruisers have sort of forged ahead, which would be a problem previously, but
Not this time, because you have so many more.
I have backup. I have reserves. TV Tropes is amazing, by the way.
Just a little bit.
Oh wow. That's melee range right there.
Indeed. Drive closer so I can hit them with my sword.
No. With battleships, it's drills.
Oh.
I want to build a Kurogane. Why can't I?
Careful, you might give him DLC ideas.
I wouldn't mind having some DLC in this game. At this point, I think that it could use all the extras it could get.
It could use some help, yes. But you go on the forum and, like, what should be the next... What should we add to the game next? And a lot of the replies were balance.
I have to admit I have trouble arguing with that. Now, the more I see the Dreadnought in action, the more I like it, because I've never seen it not doing something effective.
Well, it's possible to design an ineffective Dreadnought, believe me, if it's possible to do something, to have bad design ideas in these games, I've done it.
Okay, well, I guess that's good. No, wait, I don't know what to say about that at all. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Do you think that dreadnoughts are a bit too effective?
No.
No? Why would you say that?
Well, let me think.
You need a reason for these answers that you give me.
I'm sorry, I was just... It was a fool's hope and nothing more.
Oh, because once you think about it, well, go on.
Well, there are some things that, there are a lot of useful things that dreadnoughts can't carry.
Okay, well, yeah. I think that's fair. And there's the dreadnought in melee range with 2 other dreadnoughts. Although, you know what? Considering the map, I guess this shouldn't be surprising.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not entirely sure how much wreckage there is mine. In fact, I do see considerably fewer cruisers now than before on my side.
Yeah, that's the problem with the short-range map. You're gonna take losses.
Yeah, well, I probably could have lessened them with a more intricate plan and a lot of preparation, but I didn't wanna.
Yeah, if you're going closer to max cost, the efficiency of building is somewhat less necessary.
What I really appreciated about this, though, is that there's a lot less of the, how shall I say it, the travel time hang-ups, because all of your fleet reaches all of the enemy fleet in a fairly smooth operation.
Okay.
Looks like the right side is pretty much done.
Oh yeah, there's just the big ball left in the center. Why didn't you speed this up?
Because it was just so novel to have
a full fleet.
And, you know, a fairly even-looking space battle that didn't look completely frustrating. These are a lot of cruisers to just be sort of hanging back.
Well, they actually don't have much engine power.
It is tough to tell exactly how many there are because they keep using cloak.
Okay. And looks like one of your cruisers is soloing that dreadnought. Oh, there's the other guy shooting missiles. Yeah, the thing about this map is that your ships pretty much have to be able to fight one-to-one because of the very short range. They can't rely on supporting fire that much.
Well, the way I had it was that the supporting fire came from the cruiser next to them.
Okay.
And, wow. This is really the sort of reason I started playing the game, is for battles like this.
What, not the high scoreboard?
That wasn't the original reason. At first I thought it was just unattainable because of my experience with other online high scoreboards. Unfortunately, I think the reason I started putting my name up there was that we just don't have that many people going for it yet. Well, that and there are a couple of obvious hackers.
Well, one very obvious ones and a couple of less obvious ones.
Or, well, I don't want to throw around accusations like that.
I want to.
Okay, fine. You can throw them around. Although, if replays of this sort of thing were allowed, like, it would be amazing if the high scoreboard allowed you to look at the replays of the attempts that got those amazing scores, because I don't know, it might be possible to win some of these maps with 2,000 points worth of fleet. I just want to see how it's done.
Yeah, so if you feel slighted, put up your own videos.
Now, it occurred to me that maybe I should have applied more turning power to some of my designs.
Well, you're winning, and that's what matters.
I guess so, yeah. So, this is one where I just sort of cut loose with the effective designs. But if I want these to stay interesting, I figured I should try a few more unusual builds. So let's take a look at one of those
right now.
What we're looking here is another side mission, and this one has two things that are disallowed.
Number 1,
shields.
Number 2,
dreadnoughts. And for hard mode, I decided to go with fighters.
Let's see how that works.
A few carriers and mostly fighters. Now, since I'm going with fighters, I'm going with the U-10, which have by far the best engines, which means they have the best fighters.
Yeah, anyone who's going to try to use fighters picks these guys.
And I have two designs. Fighters with dogfight missiles, which will go after enemy fighters. And gunships, which have two pulse lasers, and they're going to go after bigger things. And my fighters will be sort of cut loose to go after enemy fighters at will, and my gunships will be sort of escorting bigger ships and flying around them. But I'm giving them a fairly loose leash. The only real weapons I have on my carriers are beam lasers, a couple each, to remove enough armor so that I'm certain that the fighters can do damage.
Well, let's see how that worked out for you.
Now, there are quite a few fighter squadrons on the other side of things. So, they have about 2/3 of what I have, and a lot more
ships.
Larger ships, yes, thank you. One of the issues I had with this is that there's not a whole lot of room for creativity when designing fighters.
Especially considering they introduced the fuel tanks that take up one of the modules.
Yeah, I think an extra module was added for that sort of thing, but there's still weight and cost to consider. Another thing that I did was I made sure to, I believe, add tractor beams to my larger ships just in case some fighters got close.
In case mistakes were made.
Well, that too. But it really helps because some enemy fighters are attracted by the gunships, which means they get close to my tractor beams, and then the pulse lasers just take them down really fast.
Operation Moth, I guess.
Yeah. But there's still it's still kind of a furball, which is not something that I mind, in fact.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to deal some -4s to the enemy frigates, and there's one now. Oh, those big circular explosion things are anti-missile systems.
Yep.
And first of all, this is fairly unusual because it seems like they have some dedicated anti-missile gear, which is nice.
Uh-huh.
Oh, dang, that's a lot of ship explosions at once. Also, it's described as a smart bomb, and it has a high chance of wiping out any missiles caught in their radius. Fighters are not affected. But as much as I like it, I think it's a really cool idea. It does require you to have your destroyers up front for the explosion to work properly. And I think we've observed that this is a pretty severe problem for an anti-missile destroyer. They need to be kept at least somewhat safe.
So it looks like one of your cruisers is about to explode.
Well, that's not really where my firepower is. However, if you'll take a look at the left side, you'll see that my fighters have taken quite a few losses, even though there's not much dedicated anti-fighter stuff on the enemy team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess their own fighters really targeted mine, so that probably counts.
Still, they did enough.
Yeah. Well, it looks like most of the enemy fighters are taken care of, so they're starting to target the enemy cruisers.
Yeah, all of the enemy fighters are done for.
Mm-hmm. And there goes another cruiser. And another one is about to go down. Now this is the sort of thing that I like to see from fighters. That is, it's fun to actually have them work properly. Unfortunately, just to get the sort of mass that I needed from to still have a few alive after the dogfighting, I have to almost get full cost. So it's not a high scoring strategy, and well.
Yeah, I always use full cost on online challenges because I just assume the enemy is going to be using everything they have available.
Well, yeah, online challenges are kind of different. I still don't try fighters on online challenges, mostly because it's really easy to just, for example, put triple tractor beams on all of your cruisers, and there you go, that's all you need.
Yep.
Enemy cruiser has been destroyed.
Anyway, that looks to be the end of that guy.
I didn't think when I started this video that I'd have a fighter build, but there you go.
Well, that's what you get for freeing yourself from the high score shackles.
Well, I think that's it for now. We'll see you next time.
See ya.